Hey there, it's Bonnie from Bamboo Furniture Designs, and today I'm doing some more decoupaging. I want to show you this beautiful design by Mint by Michelle. This decoupage paper called Winter Petals is part of her new release, and I've been wanting to use it, and I really haven't found a suitable piece of furniture to really showcase the gorgeous muted floral colours in there. It's just beautiful. So I have got this really lovely dresser desk, very solid, but it's got these drawers with these frames around. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take those bits off so the drawer sits flush with this bit and this bit. So I'll have this whole section to put the decoupage paper on. If I can find it, I'll show you. We're still going to lose a little bit of the image, and I'm most probably going to need to do some extending of the image. But if I put that up there and I go to, where is it, here, I can get in most of the image, and I think that'll look really lovely. It's also got these beautiful legs, so I thought I might sand them back, keep them original timber. And there are also panels on the side where I can put some more images on there, so it kind of flows right around. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll take the handles off. I'll just putty up these little screw holes because I'm most probably not going to use this hardware. I'm going to take these off. I do have to probably give them a bit of a sand because they're a bit stick in there, and I can see that they've been digging out, putting gouge marks in the side of the cabinet there where the drawers go in. So I'm going to sand them so they don't damage the cabinet. I'll also have to fix these gouges, but that's easy. And then because they're not sitting properly, and I'm actually going to need them to sit out a bit, we need to, I'll show you this. Oh, see, it's a little bit sticky. It's had these little bits of timber in here that stopped the drawer from going all the way in. They've come off anyway, but we're going to have to move them forward so the recess bit sits flush here. So we should essentially get a nice flat surface from here all the way down to here. So that's the plan. So the drawers are nice and flush with the cabinet. I've taken off that edge detail. I've puttied up some of the damage, so it's a nice flat surface now. But what I need to do still is to stop the drawers from doing that, from going in. And it's a really easy fix. I've got these little bits of MDF or timber, and we're going to fix them on the inside of the drawer to stop the drawer from going in like that. So I'll just have to take the drawers out again now. First, we just measure. Does that say 1.6? 1.7. And then I'm going to put a little mark here at 1.7. And that's where I'll put that little bit of MDF. All right, so let me just do that. And now they're all sitting in there. You can't push them in. They're all sitting nice and flat. So that's the drawers all fixed and done. They still need a little bit of sanding down the sides because they're still a little bit tight, so that gaps quite tight. So I'm going to sand off this varnish and just sand them a little bit down the side, because remember there's going to be some paint there. All right, and then I'm thinking I'm going to use paint stripper to take off the varnish around the legs, and I'm going to keep them natural. I just wanted to show you that I've sanded the top nice and smooth, and this is all, most of the time, my choice of sealer and stain. It is a wax, so it's oil based, so it offers a lot of protection, and you get a really natural timber look, and as well as it enhancing the grain. So, and it buffs up really nicely, so you can see that. So I'm just going to do that all over now. Lovely, isn't it? I've got her on her back now, because I think now I will do the base. So I'm going to use some paint stripper and some sanding to get rid of the varnish here. This is what the timber's like underneath. It's really quite lovely. I haven't determined what it is yet, but so I think that will look really, really nice with this old stain taken off. I've had the paint stripper on under here for about 10 minutes, and I'm just going to take it off. The Glad wrap keeps it from drying out. And I've got this, it's a poppy training pad underneath, because it does get a bit messy. I've got this, it's like a hard foam cleaning. It is like slightly abrasive. You use them for cleaning stoves. Slightly abrasive, but you can easily use it on glass, so it won't scratch. So I'm just going to use it on here. You can also use fine steel wool. What number is this one? It's a grade O fine. So you can also use this. I wanted to show you that after the paint stripper and a combination of using this sander, my Festool RTS 400, with the interface pad around these surfaces and some hand sanding, they have come up really, really lovely. Now he is still barking. Sorry about that. And I've done a little bit here. I still need to do this side, so just a little bit of the varnish needs to come off still. Good. So that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll flip her up, and I'll put some stain on before we do any painting. So I finally got all the stain off the leg base. It was a little bit stubborn. I had to use some paint stripper a couple of times in the little bits in here, in the grooves. So now, before I do any painting, I'm going to seal it so I can then just tape it up and protect it from the paint. So this is what I love to use on raw timber. It's Any-Flame Dark Wax. Now, it's oil-based, so it adds some protection as well. And you can certainly, after you've put this on, you can seal it with, I like to use a spray sealer, spray varnish, because it is oil-based as well. So I just want you to see, maybe I should bring you in a little bit closer. Bring it down. See what this looks like. I'll put it on with a brush. It's got like the consistency of Vegemite. Goes on, like the wood just sucks it right up. I just want to, and then I get an old sock, something that's soft, and I just take all that excess off. Can you see just how gorgeous that is? Well, I'm going to do that all over the legs now, and then we'll be ready for the painting and decoupaging. Ta-da! I've got all the legs done, and I've got dark wax on, and after all the painting and everything, I will give them a spray varnish. They're looking quite nice, and also the drawers are sitting nice and flush, and they're sliding really well. I'll just see, sliding nicely, no sticking. One little secret I do have, oh, where is it? One little secret I have is this, oh, you can't even read it. I've had it down here for so long. These are the wax melts, the scented wax melts you get. So it's candle wax basically. I rub them on the bottom of the drawers. It makes them slide and smell really nice. So that's where I'm up to. So now what I've got to do is put some white paint on that front there where I'm going to decoupage, and also on the sides, because I'm going to put decoupage paper on the sides. So underneath the decoupage paper, it is best to paint a white surface or a pale surface. If you put the decoupage paper straight onto a timber surface, the image will look a little subdued and you will see everything that's in timber through the paper. So what I prefer to do, what I prefer to use is Mint by Michelle's Mint Grip. It is her primer, but you don't necessarily have to prime the timber. I just prefer to use this. It goes on really nicely. I use a roller, and I just want to show you what I've done, if you can hear me, because it started to rain and it's got a bit windy, which I don't like when I'm decoupaging. I know, settling down now. Good. So what I've done now is I've popped her on a side on a bit of foam to protect the top, the timber bits. And I'm doing this because the design, I want to put the design on down that way. It's a horizontal image, but they go on better in portrait mode, if you can understand me. So there's a couple of things that I've had to do. When you have the drawers on their sides, the drawers want to drop. So I've popped a bit of cardboard in there to keep them in place as if they were, if it was the right way up. This is what I like to paste with. It's Mint by Michelle's top coat, and it comes in matte and gloss. And it's a really, really great consistency for these papers. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It dries fairly quickly, but it gives you enough working time. So you can lift the paper if you need to and reposition. It also isn't thick, so it doesn't go clumpy under the paper and saturate the paper. And that's when the paper can become weak and tear up. So yeah, so this is a felt applicator, the best tool for decoupaging. I will show you how to use it if you haven't seen my other videos, but honestly, I would not attempt any decoupaging without these now. This is the bag that the paper came out of, and I've cut it in half. And I use this between the felt applicator and the paper, because as you see, as we go down here, I can be quite rough, and this will prevent any scratching of the design. It is soft, it's got felt on it, but with the plastic underneath it, it just adds a little bit more protection. All right, the first thing you need to do is find the best placement. You have to make sure that it's going on square, because you don't want to for it to start going off at an angle. Right. Just lift that up. Okay, then I'm going to hold it in place. I'm not going to take it again. I'm going to get my glue. And just put about an inch, 2 inches. Oh God, I'm dripping everywhere. Got 2 inches up there. Right, and with my little tool, I'm going to start in the middle section. Gently release my hand. There, and that's gone on really well already. But I've got that bit on. I'm just going to lift it up a little bit. Put some more on here. Just make sure you don't want to create a bubble underneath there. Right. So with my tool, you start in the middle again. Go out to the sides. So that's good. It's going on lovely. Good. So we're just going to keep going on like this. A little bit. See, from a distance she looks really good. That's going to be so pretty. Just have to fix that. I just have to do some extending there. But I'll show you. See around the tops of the drawers, there's not been good adhesion. I'm not worried about that, and I'm not going to touch it until the whole paper is dry. See around the tops of that drawer there. This will need to be trimmed, but that won't happen until it's absolutely dry. Gone on pretty well. See, there's a bit of an air bubble there, but I've played with it enough, so I'm going to wait for it to be dry. These little ones will just come out when they're dry, those little ones. I'm not worried about that. Oh, I took off some of the colour there, but I can fix that up. But otherwise there's no tears, there's no major creases, because that tool is fabulous. So I'm just going to now wait for it to be dry, and then I can do all the fixing and slicing through the drawers and everything. Okay. So with a super sharp blade, when it's dry, I'm just going to slice through that. Right, so now I'm going to flip her back on her legs. I'm going to take all the drawers out and fix around the edges that haven't stuck, and then we will consider doing the extension. So I'm going to go around all the edges that aren't quite stuck down properly and just put a bit more top coat, and then if you get a rubber brayer, push down on that edge and it'll really squash that edge down like that. Don't like to touch it too much when it's wet. Yeah, pretty good. So I'm going to do that all around the drawers as well. These look pretty good up here. Maybe a bit. I'm going to go around the drawers. There's a bit more gaps in the drawers. And then we'll get some sandpaper. We'll get some sandpaper and take off all that excess. So with some sandpaper at a bit of an angle, in a downward fashion, you get a really lovely flush finish, and you get rid of all that excess. And remember, there's probably a bit of glue under there as well. We don't want the glue. You don't want any fluffy bits that will get caught, that will pull the paper off. Okay, so I'm going to do this all over here, and then the drawers as well. Okay, all the drawers are back in. The edges have all been stuck down, and I've sanded around the drawers, removing all the excess and making them nice and flush. There are some areas that will need to be touched up with paint, but honestly, paint fixes so many issues. And of course, I'm going to have to do some extending of that over there. So before I do anything else, I'm going to seal, and this is what I like to seal with. It is not water-based, and people wonder why I seal with this. Is because two reasons. It's not water-based, so it's not going to reactivate the paper. Most of the time you see wrinkles, not creases, but wrinkles in paper. The decoupage paper is a reaction to the water-based paste, glue, seal, or whatever. And most of them do come out when the paper is 100% dry, which can actually take days. But to save all that heartache, I just like to spray. It's quick and simple. And also, when I'm going to be doing some painting, some extending, it protects the paper. So, because I'll be adding water-based products, it won't reactivate the paper that's been glued down. Also, if I get paint on areas I don't want the paint to be, I can wipe it off easily if I have sealed. All right, so I've before I do that, I need to protect the top. Hang on. There we go. I've got a towel up there, and I will end up using this to seal the top, but I don't want any random bits of seal on there just now. Okay. got an even coat all over. Now, I probably won't do any painting or anything until tomorrow. It's getting late in the day today. And also the next day is when you might come across some air bubbles, some trapped air that has occurred because it hasn't been glued properly underneath. And it happens to all of us. So when I come back next tomorrow, I usually give it an inspection to see if there are any air bubbles, and sometimes they're around the edges. I can sort of see here there might be an issue just there. It's hard to see in this light, but until it's really dry overnight I won't know, because yeah, it might be just because I've added some glue, but I don't want to touch it just yet. But doesn't she look good? I think she's, this image is just beautiful. It's looking really, really good.
So this is the next morning. So this is when I can check to see if there are any air bubbles. And there's just this one section here along the edge that hasn't glued down properly. Everything else looks really good. It's a bit hard for you to see, but maybe if I use the blade, can you see that bit? It's just a small patch. But instead of trying to stick the brush in there, what I'm going to do is just gently slice it. You can do this even if you get an air bubble stuck in the middle there. Just give it a bit of a slice, 2 ways, and then gently lift up the pieces that aren't stuck. Wish I could get you closer. Alright, lift up the bits that aren't stuck like that. And get your little brush with your paste or your top coat, and then there, like that. And I'll get my little brayer, just squish it down, get rid of some of that excess paste. There, and you would never know. You can't even see where I've sliced it. Yeah, alright. So that's how you manage bubbles. So along the edges it's quite easy. If it happens in the middle of your design, you can use a syringe full of the top coat and poke the air bubble, insert a little bit of the top coat and use your brayer to squash it. Or you can do what I did and with a very sharp blade slice it, but only do this when it's dry, because if you slice it when it's wet it's going to tear it. So because this was 100% dry, there's no tears, it's sealed back down and you would never know that it was there. So now I'm going to prepare some Mint by Michelle mineral colours to do that bit here, extend the image here. So we're going to do this bit here. What I like to do first is play around with a few of the colours to get the right mix for a background colour, because I'll start first just by putting on a background colour and then I'll come in and try and cover this edge up with the appropriate match colours here and try and continue. There goes my dog again. Continue the design. Okay, so there he's barking. So what I've done with a lot of Mint by Michelle woolen jumper and a dash of Riverbank green, I've come up with this really good match.
Now, because it's the first bit, it doesn't have to be perfect because I can always adjust it on the second coat, and sometimes you have to take into consideration that when the paint dries, they might dry darker or they might dry lighter. So I've mixed up a bit on here. So what I'm going to do now is just do a stippled layer. I like to stipple. I find that when you stipple you don't get any of those brush marks. Now I'm already seeing that it might be a bit too light, but we'll wait to see what it looks like when it dries. But I'm just going to do this all along here, come up to the leaf. Don't worry if we get it on the leaf because we'll kind of repaint the leaf. And I'm going over the join slightly just to see when it dries I can compare the colours. I have a feeling it may need to be a little bit darker, especially when it comes down here. But we'll just use this as our first layer. And I find stippling also adds a thicker layer of the paint. Now maybe it's a little bit too green, maybe it needs to have a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of stoneware clay added to it. We can try that with the next layer. But just for this one, even though it's dark down here, although I could make that one a bit darker, maybe I'll just do it to here. got enough to do a first layer there. And so you can see it's too light and it might be a touch too green, so we might have to mix up something else. But down the bottom here, I've already got this mix. It's a mix of Time and Space Black with the Riverbank Green to get this really dark green. I'm going to put this down here, so I might just wipe that light bit off, come in with another brush, and don't worry if you get it on there because we're going to repaint it anyway. Now we're going over the white base, so it might take a few layers to cover that white. But I think that's going to be a good match for down there.
This is just the first layer. Right, maybe that needs to be a little lighter as well. But we can fix that up. So we'll just let that dry. Just let that dry and we'll mix up another colour here. So, okay, so I've made up another colour, which is not as much Riverbank Green and a little bit of Stoneware Clay to make a very pale taupey colour. So I think this one might be better. And just remember, if you can't get it perfect, just bring the colour into your piece and blend it into the colour that's already there. So I'll start with out here. So it's not too bad. I might have to make it a tad darker. So it's not too bad. That's right, from that one. Maybe lighter, right? So it's a bit darker down here. And come right in here. Just like that. But already I'm covering that join. If you want to soften it here, just go like that. Now as I'm going down, I think I'm going to have to add a little bit more Stoneware Clay. Just a dash. Bring that down. And it does seem to be getting a little bit greener as we go down. But I'm happy to say that line, the edge of the paper is disappearing. I'm happy with that. I'm just sort of bringing that colour in gently so it looks like it's blending in. And remember how I said we sprayed it first? So if you get colour you don't want it, if you get paint you don't want it, you can wipe it off. It won't soak into paint. But I'm thinking this needs to be a little bit darker now, so I'm going to
Grab a dash of that, just a smidge of my my mix, my dark mix, just to see. No, see that's not green enough. I'm not happy with that. It's kind of like, it's sort of like this is too dark. It's too green. It's not too bad. Maybe, I don't know, it's a funny mix. Sometimes you just have to play around till you get the right mix. That's too dark. Too light there. I mean, it's not too bad. I'm definitely going to have to repaint those bits. But I think this has a bit more grey in it down here, doesn't it? See, I'm just adding that dark mix. Gently. I'm like making music, aren't I? Maybe a tad. going to go with all that foliage. Right. Still not that happy with that. I'm going to make it a bit more, stoneware clay. Right. So as you can see, it does take a bit of faffing around to get the right colour mix, colour match. So now I'm going to just bring the no, stuff that. Right, now I'm going to add some dark down the bottom. I've decided I'm going to make this really quite dark down here. It's not really... Right, now I want to lighten it again. Okay, so is that anything like that? Yeah, so this grey, so what I'm using now is the Sound of Rain grey. I'm thinking it's better than the green. Yeah. So I don't always get it first time, do I? What if, where's the, yeah, so that's probably a bit too light now. No, I don't like that either. I think the grey needs to be mixed. I think the grey needs to be mixed with... I'm going to mix the Sound of Rain with Woolen Jumper and just a tad of the green. Yeah, I think that's better. It's a bit lighter. Yeah, I think I like this better. might be a bit too... I'm just going right over that flower, that leaf. Yeah, I think that's a better tune. Nope. Maybe it needs a... Right, so I just need to decide what I'm doing down here, because it's definitely a lot darker. It needs to be definitely a lot darker down here.
Definitely more dark now. Really dark. So I'm just doing gentle tapping. And then you have to step back. Well, actually from there it doesn't look too bad, but I want it to see how it's lighter over here. I think that's okay. We can cover it up with some foliage. Okay, what I've done is just pencil in where I might want to extend this bit of branch. I don't know if it's supposed to go like that, but it is in my picture. I've already filled in this leaf with my mix of Timer's Paste Black and Riverbank Green. It creates this lovely dark colour. See how it's quite a good match. So so what I'm going to do now is fill in this bit. I think this is going to be the easiest bit because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do down there. So and then I can add a little bit more foliage up there. Yeah, we'll just play it by ear. I could do more of this over here to fill it in a bit more. I'll come in with some pencil. So I've done those, and now with this little dot art tool, I'm going to, I'm not sure if this is going to be the right colour because I don't want it to be too stark. I'm going to put some little, oh, it's not big enough. Can you see that? It's tiny. These dot art tools, just make sure you get a really perfect little dot. I think my paint's a bit thick. I've got no idea what that plant is, but it looks pretty with those, don't you think? I've used a pencil to put a little bit of a sketch there because I thought I might put in some darker leaves and then go over it with some, I don't know, some foliage of some sort. So I'm going to use the really dark, I can't even remember what I put in here now, but it's a little bit darker than that. Maybe there's just more black. So I'm just using a bit of riverbend green mixed with Sound of Rain, very, very lightly, to just give these leaves a little bit more detail. I do it so finely though. I have not got a steady hand at all. That looks alright, just makes them a little bit different from the other ones. Okay, now I'm going to mix, let's see, I want to make sort of like, yeah, no, this is alright. What I've got, this is a brown that I made, oh god, I don't even know what's in it. But I just sort of use it as a base, to make a brownie base. Because I only have to do this finally, but I just want to, because I painted over this bit up here, let's go up a bit. So I just want to gently, gently, gently so you can come in there. You don't want too much on your brush, but you have to have enough on your brush. It's not the exact right colour, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm just going to make this. And like I said, foliage is never, nothing's ever perfect, so you don't have to make it too perfect, but I am going to it's like I've added another branch to it. Oh, don't like that bit. There. Enjoy that. There we go. So you can do it very finely. You can add. See? On the brush. You can see what I'm doing. You can down, so. Yeah, that's finally. So this is where I paint over the image. So I'm just going to put some back on my brush because skinny stuff. That's pretty much, isn't it? Right. So, paint fixes in. Okay, so let's put it like that. I might need to put some around here, because I've got the trigger brush. Okay, now we're going to come down a little bit more. We have to decide what we're doing here. And I'm just going to keep doing the same sort of thing. And then I might come in and try and, I don't know, put something there maybe. Well, we need to see how. This is quite dark. It's not quite dark, so maybe if we. Might need this bit, I know. Oh yeah, that's quite good. We can. I'm just using a white colour under there. What I did is that brownie colour, so lightens it a bit. It's not bad. You make it it's like a lighter. You don't have to be as thin with my strokes. Now I go over it. It's a little bit dark. So I'll add a bit more dark to that now. Oh, George! Probably my neighbours too. Probably should try some later. Finish this. Shh. I need a bit more to just put a bit dark through there, so it's a bit fine. This is the really dark stuff. Just get a little bit more light there. I still need to fill this bit here, so how's it go? So now, there's not. Yep, so I need to put something there. It's a little bit more defined than that. Right, so then, what I could do is I could try and do something like that there, on top. Doing it the wrong way. I just added a little bit more definition there, and I think that looks good. So now what I'm going to do is give it another spray with the varnish, and then I can take the drawers out, finish them off around the edges of the drawers, and then consider what we're going to paint on the outside. Not long to do now. I've decided to paint the main colour with, it's hard to see, this is lovely dark green that I made from Time and Space Black, Riverbank green, and maybe a smidge of Roaring Twenties, but it's what I used when I was extending the side on those larger leaves. And I just wanted to show you how I go around the drawers. So there's always a bit of primer left here, and I don't want to see that. So don't load up the brush too much, but at an angle. And then you don't have to worry about taping up or anything. So I'm just going at an angle, I have a feeling. And this is a good way to check your edges are all still glued down. That's glued down, but could do with a bit of a sand. Where's my sandpaper? Stick in there. Because if it's hanging over at all, that's when it's going to lift off, or potentially lift off. So yep, so just doing that. It's those edges that have gone white again, all covered up now. Great, isn't it? So this is a bit of a slow process, and I'm just going to grab another cup of coffee and sit here and do this to the drawers. Like that. I think she's done. Now I have done a little bit more here with the painting. I just felt like it missed something. And maybe it still needs a bit more of a lighter colour here, I'm not sure. But I'll come up closer and see I've put some lovely little knobs on. And this colour is just really beautiful. Now that was the mix of Riverbank Green, Time and Space Black, and a smidge of Roaring Twenties, just to give it those little blue hues. But but I think she's just looking amazing. I've sprayed some, oh, I've got a bit of tape there. Sprayed a bit of varnish all over her again. And there's the side bits. And I didn't, I don't think I showed you me sanding the top, but she's come up lovely too. I've put some spray varnish on there as well. So she's had a few coats of sealer. Now I'm going to take some photographs.
I really hope you've enjoyed this makeover. Please feel free to pop any questions in the comments. I'd love you to like and share and subscribe. And if you'd like to see any more of my work, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for watching.